coming around the final corner, down to the start, turn one, lap one. How will it be? Ready for the start of the IndyCar Series season, and we're going green in St. Pete. Oh, trouble! Around in turn two. Will Power. And he keeps going. But what did he damage on that machine?
How did he get sideways there? That was almost just a straight between two corners. Well, maybe somebody touched him from behind.
No, I think actually with Wickens and Power going through there side by side through 2 and 3, probably Will just ran out of room, but give Robert Wickens a big nod up because he just ended up starting beside a guy that's been 187 starts in Indy cars with 32 wins.
More trouble. That's Tony Kanaan around. And you saw Ryan Hunter-Reay on pit road. He dove for the pit lane as the field took the green.
He's looking desperately for reverse.
Car still running. You can tell because the numeral on the digital readout is still there, and you can hear it. All right, Hunter-Reay leaving pit road. Jan?
If I start finish now, you're going to beat him around.
Oh.
Yes, you can hear the radio communication. Ryan Hunter-Reay said the car would not accelerate. They made a quick pit stop to change the ECU, or engine control unit. The good news, as you heard on the radio, it looks like he is going to beat the leaders out, and at this point has not lost a lap.
Oh, that was awkward for Kanaan.
And an eventful first lap for sure. Yet no caution flag.
And two veterans with an issue on the first laps, something we really expected out of the rookies, guys.
Have you seen the gap that he's put on the second place car?
Well, everybody had to check up for Power spinning in front of him, right?
Now he has nothing to worry about other than the track. There's nobody attacking him.
All right, what happened to Will Power in that first series of corners?
Oh.
Hey, that looked like it just happened back.
Oh, yeah.
Rear wing.
And by himself, just trying to get back on the power. We saw that.
This should tell us.
Yeah. Do they touch? No. I mean, give Will Power credit. He did not want to rub against Robert Wickens.
And Charlie Kimball is off. He is stalled. That is in turn 13 and 14. Kimball driving for the new Carlin racing team in the series.
You stalled out.
And there you see where he is on the track, the last corner before pit entry.
And I think they said his engine is stalled. That's a bad place to be because if you have any brake trouble, that's where the car naturally ends up.
Did somebody here say something about chaos? Caution out. Kimball's car stopped and stalled in a spot that is a dangerous place on the racetrack. So first full course yellow of the race coming out on the third lap. How about that restart in our ABC side-by-side coverage? Scott Dixon pulled out 4 wide. Somehow everybody cycled back in line. And a new leader up at the front of the pack. Another one of the young drivers, Jordan King, 24 years old from Warwick, England, in his first IndyCar Series start.
And the first 3 cars are rookies, with Rossi being the Indy 500 champion in 4th.
There's a look at Jordan. One of those drivers, former 2013 British Formula 3 champion, a race winner in Formula 2, was looking for something, what his next career step was, not finding anything attractive to pursue in Formula 1. He's had his eye on IndyCar for a while. He said he wanted to drive something that excites him, and this did more than any European option. And he said, I'm not here for a year, I'm here for a career.
That's definitely a career choice. But you have to make that conscious decision if you're coming to the States to run. Otherwise, you can spend 3 or 4 years waiting for an opening in Formula 1. It might never come.
Alexander Rossi up to 3rd. Blue and yellow car. Sorry, Scott.
Yeah, and that all started from back in turns 13 and 14. Good power down. Had a good drive off the turn. Oh,
trouble.
Contact.
Couple of cars around. Is that Graham Rahal, I believe? Or is that Sato?
No, that's...
Check that. That, on the other side, is Spencer Pickett in the 21. He's stalled.
He was out of control before he got to the apex of the corner.
Yeah, when you come diving into the turn like that on the painted tarmac, it just has no grip, and they lost the back end of the car, and around he went.
Another restart charge down into turn 1. Dixon in the orange and blue car squeezing through for some spots. The leader goes wide, and a change up front. Wickens back out front after Jordan King overshot the corner. Now the fight for second. Rossi and King. Rossi slides and keeps it off the wall. We have a guest analyst in the booth. He'll jump in anytime he feels ready. See if you can guess the voice, and then I'll introduce him.
What a great race. Oh, my God, I'm holding my seat here. I wish I would be there, but it's okay. What a great race here in St. Petersburg. As everybody already mentioned, nobody knows much about those cars. Everybody understanding every lap goes by, and it's been a lot of action. It's unbelievable.
3-time Indy 500 champion, 3-time St. Petersburg race winner, more than anybody else. Elio Castroneves, Grand Marshal for today's race. Nice touch with the fence
You like
climb.
that? That was good, huh?
Very robust command to start engines. We appreciate that very much. I know you'd like to be out there. Your career's in a different direction, but we will see you in Indy.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is great.
I'll be back, no problem. So the fans were out there. I'm still coming back, and obviously the Indy GP and Indy 500. And I'm still racing. A lot of people think I'm retired. I did not retire. I still race in IMSA, which is sports car, and it's a lot of fun, different. And but I tell you what, this is a lot of action because in IMSA, you're actually passing a lot of cars, different cars, but here it's everybody very equal, special now with this new car. I did not have the opportunity yet to drive the new car, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Simon Pagenaud was the only driver I talked to after the morning warm-up who smiled and said, I think the car is just fine, but wait a minute, they've got a problem down there. Looks like the car is stalled. This is not going to be a routine pit stop by any stretch of the imagination. They get him restarted and back out, but not the kind of pit stop he wanted, especially considering he feels he had a very racy car.
That's tough.
Yeah, I did speak with him right after the warm-up, and he said, man, my car is really consistent on the black tires, and that's not the way Penske want to start right now.
Alexander Rossi pits from second place. Jan?
Yes, and one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. He's been on the radio, said, I'm losing the rears, meaning when he accelerates off the corners, he's starting to burn off those rear tires. They also decide to go with the primary tires, and fairly early. That's 7.1 second stop for Alexander Rossi. A lot of strategy being played early right now. Get tires fresh and keep your speed up.
So when will we see this car on pit lane? Robert Wickens from the race lead. I gotta think soon. With all the people closely pursuing him having stopped.
Not that closely pursuing him. He's a 6.9
Well, they were until they
gain
stopped.
on King.
Come on.
He's in a category of his own right now.
Yeah.
But who's really fast right now is Marco with new tires, doing a 61.9. The leader's doing a 30.63.
You see those busy hands in that corner?
Hit this lap, use overtake, please confirm. Copy, copy.
Here he comes.
Nice, easy run into the box. Let's hit the marks for the boys. This is going to be fuel and tires.
Robert Wickens learned how to qualify, learned how to lead. Now he's learning how to do an IndyCar pit stop. That's what he's new at. So far, things have gone fine. He was working on fuel saving, but just before he came in, they told him on that lap, use the push to pass, use the overtake. Burn it as much as you want, go as fast as you can, with the idea being that his in-lap hopefully would be fast enough to keep him ahead of Rossi when he goes back out.
And
There goes Rossi. Wickens to the pit exit. That was close.
But Rossi has hot tires on, and he doesn't, so he's got to drive really defensively for the next 2 laps.
But he's got 3 cars between himself and Rossi as a cushion.
And this section of the racetrack is very difficult to pass in here, so he'll be able to hold everybody behind him.
Sebastien Bourdais cycles up to the lead on an off strategy after an earlier flat tire. Hometowner Sebastien Bourdais in that neon yellow and black number 18 being chased by Spencer Pickett. Both drivers had trouble earlier. Punctured tire for Bourdais, cycled him to the back. Pickett stalled after contact from Graham Rahal. That can't be good for a race car.
What is that?
Yeah, that's pieces of carbon fiber, obviously, off of a race car. So those little pieces stay on the racetrack and can actually cut a tire. So that's what all the drivers certainly need to know with the alert of that flag about what's on the race course.
Look at this, down to the inside, Will Power. Surprise, Ed Jones, somebody's coming through.
And who's on the outside? 2 by 2. Penske, don't hit each other. Teammate rules.
I know. Ooh.
Oh, trouble laced.
He was having issue.
Yeah, and we were just saying in the break, weren't we, that, when you're a rookie, you get anxious because now you're expecting to do well, and all of a sudden the car's having problems. You're in the pit lane. You want to do so much more and try to overdrive it, and this is the result.
Yeah, we don't know the fact if there was a gearbox problem or certainly some ECU or electronics, and I wonder if that was the cause of the crash. But, as you said, rookie, first time, but he did phenomenal. I mean, it's tough to finish the race like that, but obviously there's still a long season ahead of him.
And here we go with Sebastien Bourdais leading Spencer Pickett, Robert Wickens, Zach Clayman DeMello, and Alexander Rossi. Rossi with an outside move. Marco Andretti hard on the brakes to the inside of turn 1. 98 car.
Nice move for him because he really made a lot of ground coming up the stretch. Wow, look how the car steps out. Talked about cold tires and how the car doesn't have as much downforce. So many guys looking for opportunities. Oh, Dixon, pardon me, excuse me.
And Sato's
coming through.
Now Hinchcliffe on outside Dixon. They are not wasting any time.
The thing with Dixon, he always knows when to stop. If he gets it too wild and he thinks he's going to have an accident, he always pulls his nose out.
Experience, my friend.
I guess that's how you win championships.
Exactly.
So you said it takes 3 laps to get the tires up to temperature.
That's what they mentioned. So I will find out in 1 week and a half to driving those cars. But right now the race is going and Simon's looking right behind.
They're watching this. I think Jordan King, seems to be off the pace there just a little bit. We'll see if he stays out or comes in.
Yep, all coming
17th place.
And what I can tell you, Scott, is that he has a left front tire going down, does Jordan King. They thought about bringing him in for a pit stop during the caution, and now trouble in turn 1.
That is Dixon.
And Sato.
And Sato. All right. So Dixon. Whoa.
He just couldn't slow down.
Yeah, on the paint, and a veteran making that mistake. We also saw earlier in the race with Graham Rahal doing the same.
But let's explain that.
Yeah.
That paint
right
is
there.
like being on ice. You just can't stop. So he thought he was going to slow down. He didn't bump him.
No,
he ran him over.
And you just rarely see a mistake like that.
Coming to the restart, Scott Dixon, penalty avoidable contact to the rear of the field. Sebastien Bourdais, last year's winner, leads the field. Big scramble already as they come up through the gears.
Marco Andretti, the 4th car in line there, just doing some nice work.
Yeah, through all that chaos, he's worked his way up to the front of the field.
That was Jack Harvey that had all the trouble getting up to speed on the start, the 60 car, another one of the rookies in the field. Michael Shank racing entry, a little wiggle from Bourdais. Does that create an opportunity from 2nd place?
They are really tightly packed up behind him.
Wickens to the inside.
Well, you can't do it any better than that, Scott.
Yeah, textbook.
Robert Wickens back to the front.
He's a bit high. No, he didn't. Came back in.
Look at Andretti around the outside
of his teammate. Now let's see if anybody wants to use
trouble. That is Harvey.
line.
That's a weird place for the car to be. He hit something and came back across the track, obviously.
His right front wing is all destroyed.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he went through that chicane in 12 and 13. Ended up mounting over the curb and hitting that inside wall. We'll have to wait and see.
I think we're about to have full course yellow.
Joseph Newgarden with a flat right rear tire on the pit lane. Sebastien Bourdais gives up another spot.
Yeah, Sebastien Bourdais has got tires that are just completely worn out right now. So for him, he's holding on.
Full course yellow.
Full course yellow. Full course yellow.
We've had a lot more yellow flags today than we had all of the last couple of races here.
Now we'll see if Rossi dives down to the inside or not. I would say he doesn't.
No, Wickens did a diamond shape on that last turn to get power down, almost like a motocross type of start, and he got the power down and no chance for getting past.
Marco Andretti tiptoeing on that inside line, trying to get his teammate for second.
But he did it perfect. He slowed down and didn't block his tires, and he is all over his teammate.
Now, the one thing about Marco Andretti's race so far, Marco has only run one of the 2 tire compounds in this race. You see the alternate tires, the softer red sidewall tires. You got to run both compounds of tire in the race. Marco hasn't been on the primary tires yet in this one.
After a couple of laps, once the tires have warmed up, and these red sidewall tires should warm up a little quicker because they're softer. If it's a short run, it's a benefit to Marco. If it's a long run, those tires might start to get hot, might start to go off, and then you end up having the guys with the black regular tires start to lead away from
The
you.
trick today here is to have fresh tires every chance you get. I don't think the tires are wearing as well as they're expecting, because the cars don't have much downforce and they're slipping and sliding all over the place, just ripping tire rubber off the tires.
So Bourdais went from racing for the lead back to 14th place now after the caution in the cycle of strategy. So you got to look at him in that 18 car along with Graham Rahal and some of the other drivers who pitted there trying to fight their way back through the traffic. Story of the day, Robert Wickens leading the field from pole position. He has led now 33 of the 53 laps we've completed. Sebastien Bourdais leading 14 and Jordan King leading 5. The real headline of the day are caution flags. We've had 5 already, and a lot of people finding a lot of trouble in the first half of this race as they try and get used to this brand new 2018 Verizon IndyCar Series machine that has less downforce. It slides around a lot more, and really, it has higher straightaway speeds but less grip in the corner. It is proving to be a handful, but that's what everybody expected.
If I can add one thing to that headline that you just gave, the best Penske in the field is Power in 7th place. The last 5 years, they've always been at the front of the line.
So there's the lead. It is Wickens and Alexander Rossi, who runs in 2nd place, Jan.
Yes, and Rob Edwards is on the radio talking to Alexander. Now, it looks like the strategy is intriguing. You're only 2 laps away from when Wickens pitted. Looks like maybe 2 stops. What's the call?
No, it'll be 3 stops. We got 2 more to make. Just trying to decide when's the optimum time to make them.
And let's talk about strategies. When he last pitted, it was late in the game. Bourdais' plan right now is to potentially do the rest of this race on just 1 stop. If he can pull that off and still maintain speed, he may cycle to the front.
Back live at St. Pete, the leaders on pit road.
Robert Wickens brings it in. So far, it's been a picture-perfect day for him. He's done everything right. They reminded him on the way in, use push to pass, get his stop. That's a delayed stop. As you can see on the left rear, it was a little bit longer than they wanted, Jan.
And his teammate takes the same lap to make a pit stop, and interestingly, he is going with scrubbed red sidewall tires, so they already have a heat cycle in these. That is a new strategy that I've not seen anyone else try. So split between the team cars on different strategies with tires.
So there's your new leader, Alexander Rossi, but again, we'll expect to see him on the pit lane some point in the not too distant future. Rossi, the Indianapolis 500 winner at Watkins Glen late in last season, really went on a streak at the end of the year last year. Said he started last year, he and his team wanted to win so badly that he and his engineer kind of maybe overlooked some basics in their communication and the way they were going about things. They had a little bit of an opportunity to reset midway through the year, and he finished last season on a real tear. And so far on the opening weekend of this year, he has had a lot of pace.
And one of the reasons why you see Alexander Rossi now, he has some more fuel, but when the people around you pit, when he just saw Wickens and Hinchcliffe pit, they say, we better come in. We do not want to get caught by a yellow. And just as Rob Edwards told us, he likes the sticker black primary Firestone. So they're going on. Don't see any other visible changes, of course. They want to get the fuel all the way topped off. That's 8.6, pardon me, seconds here for Rossi. Nice stop.
But there goes Wickens by.
I would venture to say he's put a bigger gap between that car.
And I'm just going to say Wickens did some awesome outlap, guys, because Wickens had a slower stop at 9.4 to the 8.6 for Rossi. So Wickens went out and laid down some awesome outlaps on cold tires.
So there's your new leader. Sebastien Bourdais cycles back to the front. Graham Rahal cycles up to second position. They both pitted about 18 laps ago. Then Wickens is in third.
It's been very interesting watching here from the helicopter view. Robert Wickens, the car that's behind Sebastien Bourdais, usually gets a great drive coming off the turns, but is he now starting to save fuel? They told him, as we heard from Rick, hey, just go ahead and go for it, but he is not getting out of the turns as quickly as he was previously, guys. I'm wondering if he's now starting to save fuel at the same time.
Yeah, but look at him eat the distance when it comes to braking and the slow stuff.
Yeah. But you get a run out of 9 going down through 10. Seems like at this area here, we'll wait to see what happens. Sebastien pulls away just a little bit. So is his car better with power down, or is he just saving some fuel? Sort of a cat and mouse game. You got two guys that are very experienced there. The car in front, Sebastien Bourdais, in the yellow and black machine, has won 4 national championships in IndyCar. And Robert Wickens, yes, a rookie, but a lot of European experience where racing over there is very tough, Eddie, as you know.
So the race for the lead now beginning to catch some traffic. That's Max Chilton just ahead of the leaders.
But has caught him at the great spot because he has an opportunity into the pit lane.
So he's going to have to fight the traffic. Instead, they'll call him onto the pit lane for a stop, Rick.
Well, last year, Dale Coyne and Sebastien Bourdais played the strategy game, and it played out. They're doing it again. They're going to bring him in, put on sticker black tires, not reds. Even though they got a fresh set of reds, they're doing a slight wing change, half a turn up, getting all the fuel in, send him back out to see if he can do battle with Wickens, John.
And a similar strategy for Graham Rahal. He just now arrives at his box. If you stop now, along with Sebastien Bourdais, it is possible that you could make it to the end of the race, but you'd have to save fuel. He goes with scrub blocks. That's 8.3 seconds for Graham Rahal, so a quick stop again. Anyone who stops during this lap, you got to save fuel if you want to get home, unless there's a yellow.
We thought the race was between Sebastien Bourdais and Wickens on pit road, but Wickens' team made that quick work. And out he went and built a lead that was enough to put Bourdais 8 seconds behind. I know it's not over yet, but Robert Wickens is our Firestone Durable Driver of the race. Guy in his first ever Verizon IndyCar Series race. He won pole position in a chaotic qualifying session. And he's having the best day of anybody out here so far, Rick.
Indeed he is. We're standing by with Sam Schmidt, co-owner of this team, and talking about the fact in the offseason you decided to blow everything up. One of the things you did was go hire a second driver. You didn't look for a paid driver. Now, I would normally ask why Robert Wickens, but I think we can see that. But let's ask, where did you find him? Why did you decide to take this guy in the offseason?
Well, he won the Formula 3.5 championship back in 2003, and actually Rossi finished 4th in that championship. And then the last 6 years with Mercedes DTM, great success there. Not big a German driver, and those cars have very low downforce, and he's got a highly technical background, so it was the perfect storm for us, and his relationship with James didn't hurt either.
Caution has just come out here at St. Petersburg for a car into the tire wall in turn 10. It's Rene Binder, the Austrian, in his first IndyCar Series start. He's overshot the next to last corner, and the gap that Wickens had on Rossi is gone.
Green, green, green.
Rossi with a slide, and what a solid job on the restart so far for Wickens.
He diamond turns 13 and 14 again, was able to get the power down a straight line sooner than Rossi.
Active, push the passive active.
Oh, and there's a car in the barrier. He's got it running. That's Max Chilton. Can he keep it running?
No,
he stalled it. Yellow. Yellow is out for Chilton's stalled car. They're going to restart this time. Lights out on the pace car was just the command.
Going green this time. Pace car lights are out. Going green.
That's a good call.
Pink 4.
Very good call.
So it'll be 2 laps to go. Kyle Novak, the new race director for the Verizon IndyCar Series, one of the many changes this year after Brian Barnhart, the longtime race director, has moved on to be team president at Harding Racing. Novak will call the green flag here. Rossi trying to stay right with Wickens. Here they come as the pace car heads to pit road. Green flag, 2 laps to go.
Rossi's close enough.
Looking, turn 1. He slides, there's contact. Wickens spins. Bourdais goes through. Sebastien Bourdais is leading with Graham Rahal behind him. Hinchcliffe inside of Rossi. And Wickens sits stalled in turn 1.
Unbelievable.
Yellow for Wickens' car.
Full course yellow, pits are closed.
Wow. Oh, man.
And that should do it for
Last
Sebastien
lap.
Bourdais. He's going to get the caution at the white flag.
2 years in a row. How about that?
Wow.
Recovering from that accident, coming back here. It's such an eventful race and winning it again.
You know what he's thinking, though, when he saw those guys go around from him? He takes the lead.
I
Are
believe
you
this is
kidding
white
me?
flag, Sebastian. I believe this is white flag.
What about that turn of events late in the race? Well, you had to know Rossi was going to go for it if he felt there was any chance. That inside line has been delicate. He got there when he tried to power up, my opinion. You guys are the drivers.
But
it just wouldn't stick.
He was wiggling. I mean, it was a long shot. He had to take it, but it was a long shot.
But it comes back from turns 13 and 14. Wickens did not get the drive off of and he didn't do the same style restart previously. So now he looks in his mirror, sees Rossi come on the inside. Perfect line here, but Rossi's already sliding. We talked about less downforce in the car, and just hits the back end of Wickens.
Yeah.
See, he didn't have this run on him last time.
He had no choice. He had to go for that. He had no choice. This is where he starts to slide.
Yeah, fans love it. Listen.
What a great race.
See, he wasn't this close.
This will show us. This will show us.
Now, I'll say that the stewards are reviewing the contact between the 6 and 27.
What purpose?
Well, doesn't do 6 any good.
Who cares? Because Rossi's going to finish in 4th, and they could penalize him deeper into the grid.
But they can't give him back.
They can't give Wickens back the win, no.
Yes.
Wow. Well, this day has had more than I think the word you used on the opening was chaos. I've repeated it several times. We finish in chaos as well after a late restart.
Now watch this.
You
the
nailed
car
it,
in
though,
front,
Scott. You nailed it.
He usually is diming this, comes out of the diamond like a motocross, and he's gassing it now.
No, but what happened the time before, he got a jump on him. This time he didn't let him. He was right on his gearbox. And he was close enough that he could make a run for it. And when he went, he just went, I'm going. Kind of like Kanan did at Indy and got away with it.
Checkered flag for Sebastien Bourdais.
We're going to jump in right now with Sebastien Bourdais. He is exhausted. Let's talk about the emotional journey that you have had. You won this race a year ago, and that was emotional. What does it feel like today?
Well, this one is emotional because we had to overcome a few bumps and rolls and a ball of fire and a few broken bones to come back in this victory circle. So I couldn't be any happier for the whole Delcon Racing, Vassar Sullivan and Sealmaster and everybody on board and all the boys. I mean, they worked so hard. It's a tiny group, but they worked their tails off. And we didn't have the fastest car today, but we had consistency and we just we pulled it together. We're gonna get a podium, which was awesome. And I was really happy for Robert and kind of heartbroken for him, but for us it's just such an overcome. It's such an upset. I can't quite put it into words.
After the accident at Indy, there were a lot of people that questioned not whether you would come back, but if you should come back. You right off the bat said you were going to, but there has to be a moment when you thought about it.
No, not really. when I got the verdict of what was broken and that it was going to, heal pretty well, and it was never a question in my mind whether I should continue or stop. And guess I'm glad I did continue.